giving everyone the shipment. Selectboard. Okay, Sabrina was on. Can you put the allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. One nation, indivisible. Before I came in, I actually listening to a tribute that was being done for, I'm not sure if this is the 50th and the story of a veteran, and my eyes just teared up for the guilt that he felt. And because his best friend died, and he didn't. And apparently there was a family reunion. And I just want to say thank you again for all your sacrifices and everyone who has served and who continues to serve today all over the world. We appreciate you and your families, and we are thankful that you are defending our freedoms. I also want to thank all of our emergency response people and their families as well. And honestly, we would not be able to continue each day without you. The meeting is being recorded and uploaded to YouTube, and so anybody else recording the meeting. And I do not believe we have none for today to review. So we go right on down to business 4.1. Review, discuss, special meeting, annual town meeting.
So in your packet, I've included the motion for both the annual special town meeting. Just figure out who would have the particular meeting.
Purposes. Is that going to be read by the Board of Health?
That's what I would expect.
Yeah, I think for that.
Yes. And they have a full board now, so congratulations if they have that, and you should be able to do very well. This is going to be the Board of Health.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Do you have an outline of income? Do they look at the meeting to this?
Mm-hmm.
It's not in the back.
It isn't.
Does that include it?
No,
We usually do. This isn't one that we usually have.
I don't think it's a
Oh, yeah, the special, sorry. There's one that it's a different one, sorry.
maybe prefer that. He must have an explanation.
I agree. I think
Do
this
you have the
needs to be
explanation for
done
this?
by.
Or whatever he wants. I mean, he's a community, right? The manager really knows this.
and John.
Yeah.
And he could, he's there.
He was,
Okay.
and so, he's there. Four, Charter, Article 3, elected officials, and then Section 3.
It should be the citizen.
This will be the citizen. Clarification from.
Today.
There's a big one. Sure.
I'll read it.
Okay.
You can take it. Don't want to, okay?
That was easy. Oh, you want to give us the recommendations on these, please?
Oh, I was gonna.
We're not one-sided by. Yeah, I'm sure we will be, but, you know, I just know what they're going to do.
Thank you.
So this is just a special, okay, special. Recommend, okay, so they recommend, not recommend. Listen all of them.
Except for the last one.
Nice, no?
The last one was fine.
Oh, somebody,
Don't.
well, Don's taking class. About specialization, recap, specialization, and what the state tells us we should do. Also, the overlay is a big thing. At state, you're not supposed to touch the overlay.
Yeah, they, anyway.
Okay.
I don't know.
And we made the request. We the Selectboard made the request from the overlay for concern for 20,000 out of it,
And
which they gave us.
10.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I think it's,
Is that all? I don't know. That's okay.
yeah,
Well,
it's
it's not
10.
okay, but yeah. Okay. All right. So that is for the special.
Mhm.
Discuss that in here.
So, just to recap, we had already done the first 10 articles. So, starting off on 11, which is the budget itself.
So just for the moment, when we do the open meeting, we're going to adjourn to the special, and we're going to go back to the annual after the first 4 articles.
You know the right words. Yeah, yes, that is correct. So
Yes,
do you
the
know the right
override is
words
to be
for that?
left, the override will be left so that we do the.
Correct. So do you know the right words for going back and forth? Would Adam give you the right words? Because there are certain words.
Yeah,
to transfer between the two meetings. And
The
then
moderator has.
The
No,
moderator
we-
should know it, but the moderator and Adam were at the same time, and they both agreed that we were going to adjourn and resume. So we resumed the annual after we did the first four, and then,
do we need a motion to,
oh yeah, we're getting permission.
okay, so do we have this motion? Okay, the words are,
We just send notice to Adam that we need the verbiage to adjourn and so what we do.
I don't
I
think
think the
the word
moderator
is
should know this
adjourn.
too.
Because it's not a joke, you're like
It's more,
pausing.
Well, so it could be pausing.
well, I don't, there is an
There's
official
official
word
word.
for it.
Yeah. We did think that's a word.
Yes,
The adjourn means you end.
correct. So it's,
Suspend? Suspend?
suspend,
Oh,
meeting might be suspend, yeah. But
Where that came
but
from,
there's
right?
also, you have to use the right
Yes,
words to move back
understood.
and forth.
Understood. And we want to stay out of trouble. We don't want to use the wrong words.
Never.
So because we didn't go over it, that's why I knew something was off, because we were just doing part of the special, going back to the budget, and then going back to the special for the override.
And then after that, Article 5, then we will adjourn the special and resume whatever the word stands.
Okay, so. What is this here?
This is special the 11.
Yeah, that's just a,
So go to number 11
yeah,
in there.
original.
Those are the motions, correct?
Correct. And I had written it down from before. Lori was originally scheduled to read motion. Because you know how.
Oh, way back when.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we'll do it.
okay.
Okay, so Valerie's going to do 11.
Is this wording, I mean, we have to put this way, I mean, is that the number that we're, the right number?
I don't think there is any record.
Well, no, the number has to be exact.
Yeah.
That is the number.
So this one, 27,592,926.
That is correct.
And we change it, and it shows what the minus is if you think it over. All the minus.
Well, actually, you're voting on the budget with reduction. There's no over. So this motion is correct for that.
And so are we handing out just this?
No.
The whole, I mean, or are people getting the whole annual?
This is the story that
Oh,
they
no,
should
no,
be getting.
No, I mean, are they getting this together also?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we just need to tell them that we're not referencing this. Is that correct?
Well, the motion is this.
We are referencing this.
It's down the budget.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is correct.
Yeah.
Just make
Then
sure.
this is from
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
but this is what they're going to counter to this.
Yeah, so but we'll set that aside for now. We just go through this. Triple back. Okay, so Valerie is reading them more. Who wants to read number 5?
Salaries and compensation.
He was going to do it. I mean, I don't mind doing it.
We're supposed to be here.
Okay. So I'll do 12.
Or team is the one.
He was doing
That Is the water department?
Yes, the water department has typically done this.
Okay. We can do it for.
They,
Good prayers, Nick. If they're not there.
It should be.
they should do it.
Certification.
That should be water. Well, no.
It's
This is capital planning. I'll read this.
Okay.
Because I was rep for capital planning. Normally it would be more fussy because the chair, but no.
You want to do that right? Jim's not going to be there.
This is capital planning also.
Oh, Article 15.
Yeah, but you can read it if you want. There's also a capital planning article. So if you want to read it, go ahead. Yeah. Just if anybody has any questions, I can answer.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them.
You want to do that?
I was.
I don't think it though. Because you just did the one before.
Just, yeah, I think we could.
Okay.
No worries.
17.
And
That's shipping.
I think you're up, Veronica.
I'll read that and we'll just go. Oh, this is the HEMA one. And Lori, it's your turn.
Okay.
Part two of it. Yeah.
So this is good. The first one, the one that you're reading is
Starts and then
Story of my day.
so this is the cost of living increase essentially. Article 18 and Article 19 is the government.
Correct. And here are the FinCom recommendations for the annual town meeting. The remainder.
They recommend the budget without the cuts.
okay, so you have their own budget. This is not recommended. What we recommend with though is not the 27,500.
So what is recommended?
Well,
But that's not the number actually.
Yeah, that was the old.
remember, it doesn't recommend, but 12 is recommended, 15 is recommended, 15 is recommended. 16 is recommended.
Where's 15? Where's 15?
15, I went into with them.
15 is not here.
And it's Article 15.
It's the dump.
Oh, the dump truck. Well, of course it has something to do with them.
Isn't it capital planning?
Yeah, it's capital planning. It's a finance article.
I didn't see it on here.
No,
Yes.
it was not here.
I don't know, maybe it was.
Oversight.
Yeah, it could be. Not that they do that, but
3 of the people on FinCom were on capital planning. Okay.
so what they do not recommend is
The government of the function. That's 19 is the government. the 18 is the cost of living, or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Basing it on the index, yeah.
So we have to sort of report.
And I think what what we want to do before the meeting officially gets underway, we're probably going to say a few words and set the tone for why we're here, what we're here. Just a few words for people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Into our government.
And I think, so.
I mean, I have a couple of things I'm going to say.
Okay.
I'm just not going to belabor what we went through. I'm not going to repeat the whole story of what we got.
I don't think
A lot of voters. I know there's a segment of voters that are on social media and aware of every single thing. But a lot of people I talk to are that are going to be there.
They're not, but unfortunately, people think they are aware of what screening has been going on versus the facts that have been going on.
Okay, so, and are you going to talk to? Like, in other words, when does the, where's the position? When are you showing the,
Everybody gets this as a handout.
I think it's a handout. So.
yeah, so are we showing that as a PowerPoint?
Well, the PowerPoint is, if you recall, was just the motion itself, and then we're not repeatedly told.
I think this is just for information purposes. Everybody's sitting there, kind of. I mean, it's up to you, Nelson.
I think somebody needs to point that out to people and go over it. If not, people are not going to be aware. They'll have it sitting there and they're going to think, why isn't anybody doing anything with this? Why aren't you talking to us? I think it needs to be talked to.
Yeah, you originally, I thought you said you were going to talk to it.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
I would.
I think you absolutely have to.
This should be answering questions for them before we start with everything.
Just at that budget.
Yeah.
You can just pull this up.
Well, before Article 11 is read.
Before Article 11 is read, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Didn't we,
They can
when
be
you
looking at
met
this.
with John and Adam, did you talk about that?
Not specifically.
We got this yesterday. I thought you said that you were going to have, you said you were going to have a slide presentation and everybody would have a handout of it. And I said, is it because they're probably not going to see the slides well, so they will have it to look at while you talk about it?
Well, the slideshow I was referring to is just the motions itself, but it's easy enough for me to talk. Those slides.
Yeah.
And do you have them in here to project them? Because I think that's important.
I do.
Okay,
And
and
it's going to be on a flash drive because they actually have a separate computer that projects. So
Okay.
I will put everything on a flash drive and transfer it to the computer.
and do any other department heads have presentations that they want to do?
They told they could.
And how do they provide those to the person projecting?
I believe the fire chief has one, as he stopped by this morning. So prior to the meeting starting, he'll hand it to me and I'll do. I think, as far as I know, he's going to put on my presentation.
And everybody else,
I think
yes, to be prepared to answer any questions should they come to your budgets.
I think we should also invite them to speak if they want to prior to the budget being voted on.
Before you have Chief do his thing, you should ask if any other department heads want to say anything at this time. If not, they are approved anytime anyone has to their budget.
Maybe do these.
And if they're,
Then
what
ask.
they're gonna be talking about, we go through the finances for them. Finance is recommending to everyone, for the public.
Yeah, I'll have all the presentation.
I only 80%.
Right, well, yes, sure. So, yes, be ready to speak on those slides.
And then ask the same departments. I mean, it's just four things.
John is aware that you're making this presentation, we talked about this.
Yeah, I will just reiterate with him the plan so that he'll be.
I'm looking for it. I thought I had it right here.
It's in the
Oh, it's
back.
important
Yeah, it's in the back.
Okay.
So, everyone that signs in high school will get a pretty substantial packet. They'll have both warrants in its complete form. Our budget, finance committee's budget, presentation, as well as the recommendation. So everyone is going to
Everything that's here in our packet
they
is
will-
what they're getting.
it's pretty substantial, so it's a lot of paper that people will. They should have.
We have, stuff on this bucket, with materials.
I don't think there's too much to discuss. I think we're all in pretty budget.
What we need to review then is 4.3, because the recommendations need them.
Yep, I do have a copy of that in the package, provided the copy earlier.
And I guess, well, is it the same line item? Can you compare line to line here between theirs and,
Okay. You should be able to follow along. So, I will say this.
I don't know what the differences are.
Well, so I think this is how they did it. You see the on line 25, 24, and 25. There's the total, and then right above it, and
They cut, and where did they put it from?
They didn't say.
they just-
They
Oh,
criticize
I thought they
us
criticized
for not
us for that.
saying, but they don't say either. So
So they have a proposed cut amount,
lack of transparency.
and I suppose it's up to the Selectboard or the department heads to get to that. That's how I view it.
Well, they haven't cut it from expenses, they just arbitrarily took a number and cut it.
I don't know their decision-making process to get to that figure. All I see is just the subtraction.
Okay, so is that when we ask, what are you cutting? What specifically are you cutting?
Well,
They may not know.
I would
Are they
direct
cutting
that,
all the duties?
I would direct that to, the department heads can say the same thing about our budget, I suppose, but.
So it sort of goes on and on with each department.
But the thing, although they voted for 40,000, they have given themselves back the 10,000 for the reserve fund.
Really, but they took all of our free cash, and that was okay. And they took from stabilization, that's okay, but then we took the reserves?
Even though they voted that 40 was okay.
Right, exactly, so they backpedaled on a number of things.
Just bring that up.
So, as I said, it sort of goes on and on with each department.
Okay, so you just look at the dark spots, and again, accounting cuts 5,000. Oh, that's the bad. No. Where did it come from?
Then they was not successful.
And you know what? Accounting, every department needs to speak to their cut. They need to ask the question why their department was being cut.
I imagine they'll come back to us and say they don't know how we're paying their budget.
Mm-hmm.
They might then say that they don't know where we're cutting. You know, because we're cutting from budgets.
I thought that we were cutting budgets, and that's why our override is done for salaries.
Absolutely. I agree.
Board of Assessors. What did we do? 2680. Incredibly simple. Then the Board of Assessors has to speak to the cut. Special collector. And legal. 1,000. And then
No.
Oh, they didn't cut anything from the input.
And so what is the,
How is that fair? I thought they were talking about fair and being across the board. And
it's a sad day for town.
800. It's just not feasible. And since they're not saying where it's from, we just stay here at the bottom line. That doesn't mean it's going to pick up the most important. Land use cuts? 140? It's 31. So they won't allow you on this coordinator?
Well, I mean, not necessarily.
So I guess, I mean,
That's a big chunk.
you know, we could go through all there and hypothetically say, but what I would say is their bottom line is higher than ours.
Yeah, and if, so here's the interesting thing.
Well, where are they taking the chunk of money? Big chunk. I mean, that's a big chunk of the land use percentage.
Well, no, but they aren't. That's the point is their end number is 200, not quite 200,000 different than ours, but
It's higher.
it's higher.
Yeah, well, so,
By about 200, right? 27778.
So they
And ours
do they
is
reach that?
2758.
so, well, that's the interesting part. You look at the very last page of that packet. This is the recap. And you go down to kind of halfway down, other available funds. They are looking to reallocate all the funding. The HR and,
There's no funding for them. They can't help it.
well,
There's
that's
no
what,
ARPA funding.
well, that's why I'm saying it's interesting. But this is how they plan to balance their budget. Is with that ARPA funding. Already been decided. The housing trust money at the moment is a no-go. In HR, that's already been voted on. What is the position? So I think
It's not even available.
I think these two items are kind of simply not that. Even though they account for it to balance their budget, I don't think
So we asked them to explain.
I mean, I think that's to some degree up to the town people too, because I hear from both sides, and there's other people who don't want. Because it's not normal. There's people upset with us, and there's people upset with FinCom. So I think
So the people that are upset understand free cash and stabilization.
no, I'm saying some people are very upset that there's two budgets being presented. So some people might not want, some people might want to hear this, and some people might not. Do you know what I mean?
Which is interesting. I mean,
Does that make sense?
yes. Who's presenting on behalf of, I say, they have to be recognized by the town then to present their budget versus the budget that's being presented?
Yes,
Is
that
that
they will have to make an amendment.
I would make a motion. Someone second. Discussion and order.
Well, there would be discussion, and I suppose that would be the time to say that a FinCom budget has a couple of items that can't be done. There's 200,000 that just can't be done the way they have presented it, and there's a lot of cuts for different departments that have not been discussed. Or maybe they did discuss the cuts with all the department heads. The department heads all agree, because we had discussions with all the department heads before.
As far as I know, could be wrong. They might have spoken to him.
Did you see any of their meetings?
No, only the meetings that we all have.
Yeah.
Or they could have spoken to him behind the scenes.
And I think more than ever, it's our department heads that have to speak to the townspeople. Really. Only the department heads really understand the workings of their departments and everything. And I support them. And I support our employees. I also support our volunteers. For what they've done. So, wow, that might be easy. What are your thoughts?
The other thing that I think you guys should maybe is browse to is the Board of Health's presentation.
They changed them. And they sent it out. Or is this the same one that came out?
Well, okay, so the scariest part about this is after what we went through, what we, learned on Friday, was, more than stabilization, and are you going to pay it back? Do we think this is going to fly? But do we risk losing, not only not being able to pay for the contract, but the stabilization fund that we've gave up?
It's a risk. It's also a risk that, it comes down to, so suppose this all works exactly how we said, there aren't startup fees, which means that the following year, in other words, they needed 160,000 in stabilization to make this budget work.
To start.
Not only to start, to make it work for the whole year, to pay through July of 2020.
Is that what we can
People, yes. Yes, paying 125.
So we create for 500, so we have to balance the whole next year.
Exactly, and if that doesn't fall out, well, then the program is done the next year, but we still have a contract. Which is why, and I say we, because it's the select board that is going to be responsible.
Do you think Adam can give clarification? Because people have asked me, if this doesn't work, how does Shaw's get paid? Legally, because it's an enterprise account by the Board of Health, but if we can get legal clarification on how that would play out.
I recall, Shaw's had a column opt-out clause. It was very short, 7. So if we really are in such a dire situation, we could make that decision and for the contract. Pay them.
I haven't seen a contract with this. Have you? I've seen a contract that we have now, and that clause is in there. But I have not seen this contract, and I've asked for it several times in writing. I wanted it reviewed by Adam, and I have not seen it. It hasn't been provided to me by anybody. That means the Board of Health did not. They said, "Oh, Adam has it for review." Typically, when it comes back, it's not 4 pages. It's not what we saw for the estimates. It is a thick document, 50 pages or so, and it details everything. And where that buyout was in there for last year, it is not. I haven't seen it for this year. I can't say it's not. If it is, I'm more comfortable. But if it is not, we have a problem. And what we probably should have done in December, instead of going to 200, and I didn't know at that point, we had been selectmen for a week or 2. I didn't know at that point that opting out was an option, but we probably should have opted out right then. You know, it's nice that there's trash collection. I participate in trash collection. I don't know that all the people who are advocating for even this trash participate in trash. So in any event, but I haven't seen the contract, and I haven't. And so until I see the contract, I cannot agree with this. And if I don't see it by 7 o'clock, the article defense. But I am willing to make an amendment to say, you know, I am prepared to make an amendment to say, to amend Article 2 to move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $786,351 to operate the solid waste and recycling enterprise, which will increase the amount from 125 to about 213 with 1,800. I would say do 200, and that's still less if you do, one bag, one large bag. Yeah. It is still less than what we pay for Shaw's. So anyway, I am prepared to make that motion. Should need to. But I cannot vote for it as it is, the stabilization, and I certainly can't vote for it if we have a 3-year contract that we cannot vote in month 10. It depends on how many people actually do it. And what I hear is people don't want to pay a fee and do perfect tax. That's what from the people that are from town.
The fees with the bags, that's a pretty standard saving.
I agree with that. But people don't know that it comes in. Because it's change after change after change. And why not just know what your trash is? Don't worry about paper bags. You have to buy that. You buy paper bags or plastic bags, whatever it is, regardless. You don't have to get them if you contract yourself. I'm not advocating for contract yourself, but I am not comfortable with taking stabilization for a program that all people are participating, because that money is taxed up. All right.
And I think that we'll go with whatever the people want to do. I mean, I want trash, but we have to have.
So if it does pass the town meeting, when the contract comes to be signed, unless that opt-out clause is in there, I will vote to sign. So I do not want to say
really
this.
good. I think they really bent over backwards and tried really hard to help us to leave us alone. And
They've been very patient.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
very,
absolutely.
very thankful for them being.
I heard back from Adam regarding sort of the motions for, suspending annual town meeting, moving into, special. He says that's typically something.
Okay, good.
So here's no subject to suspending and.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah, John will know the exact verbiage to use when the time is right. So let me kind of discuss it.
We just feel more comfortable in positions right now. Knowing that there are things that we could do that we were told that we couldn't do, and so we were kind of paranoid about it all the time. Now we don't have to be. And just it was very interesting on the financial. I did not hear back from. I wrote to Jessica for more information on the free cash over the stabilization and what we really should be doing and not doing. How do we put it back?
This was something that was presented.
Yeah, she was presented. We do, I think, survey.
It's been a little busy now.
No, yeah.
Get there tomorrow, maybe.
I did forward you. Yeah.
Which you did, it's Sunday.
Okay. And think about it. Okay, which it could have been, or Western Springfield. Yeah. Yeah. And sit with other people. Not even the people that not even the ones that I already set with. So the neighbors, telephone, so it was,
Okay.
it was good. It was all like positive, good day. Just as was, and I'll mention it again, the economic forum on Saturday, and I'm still very excited about it, and I hope that, we get something on it soon, and we are able to address it and do some things, with it. Okay.
After town meeting,
This is a few months.
we should have meetings about, we should have goals on the agenda.
Yeah.
I think that's one of our first things.
Yeah.
And I also think getting Emily and Bear from AIS and other
think
people
that's good.
is really important. So we can go and review all of the recommendations that,
Yeah, we should do that with them.
because when I talk to them, they said, this is what we do. We come into a town, we say, here, this is, like, they look at our budget process, the state recommendations, where things have gone wrong in the past, make recommendations.
I think that's a good idea. And I also think we need to get budgeting software. And that should be all part of that process.
And the training.
I
Training from,
I actually did reach out to Phil.
And so on the 24th,
I actually met. He gave me a brief demonstration on what the capabilities are, because I constantly change software. Not that over. But they're always constantly tweaking it. So it was an interesting presentation. certainly not cheap, but I don't think it's the city's an expense that.
It's near, which we don't have.
We will, under someone,
Yeah,
just in time.
we have to do, it takes me, so, first to get the benefits, not that it would be for years. It's not gonna be an every year.
Right. Well, yes, it is in every year.
But once you have it set up, isn't it less expensive?
I'll need to look at the notes. So there is a startup cost because they have to. So there's a startup cost there, and depending on sort of. I'm not sure what necessarily. Expense.
Seems to be that for budgeting software would be, at this point, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
So everybody's just so everybody's on the same page. So we all have exactly the same system.
Yes, definitely.
Percent sort of price.
So on the 24th, we have for Sunday.
Yes.
Yes,
So that is on the,
It is on the agenda.
okay.
So Melissa can't share updated questions for her, or what will be done after that. Sabrina, can you hear me? Sabrina? She just said something else, and I did my last MPO meeting today, and it's tip. And they approved another, something going out for tomorrow. And it was my last meeting. But she said something to me, I thought, about the motion that we made in reference to the representative.
Yeah, but that was
So this is the
standings.
and I don't think it's necessary anymore, so.
Because it seemed like there was, I don't know.
Oh, you do? Oh, was it email? I've looked at so many things, I don't remember. But my role the last 2 years as chair of MRPC included me participating in FJTC and FPO. And MPO, I voted on behalf of MRPC, and I counted for their forum. In the MJTC, Beth was the council representative, I was the MRPC representative. Now that I am off that position, and there will be another, and it will be partly, but because it's already elected, the next person is elected for the chair, somebody who's been in for quite a bit, and he's very good, and well versed. That now becomes his responsibility to do MJTC and all for MRPC. And that's not a position that Townsend takes. So where the Townsend doesn't have an MPO representative,
FJTC.
just, and, right, and so that is that. So Hartley will become Townsend's representative and MRPC.
Okay.
And that's where you start. I mean, you start somewhere.
And you're our alternate for MRPC and you're the alternate for MJTC.
Correct. Yes. I think that can be, yes, we voted you for everything.
Yeah.
We voted me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're for MRPC as well? Okay, so, okay, so then it's you. For the
Yeah,
alternate
if Hartley
for those
can't
two.
make it, she's going to make it for MRPC. I think Beth will just continue on MJTC.
But Valerie can also attend.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You just, you all have to, but it certainly is just information. I thought they And it's not something you have to do all the time. I did because I voted. But I think that was all. Did you say anything else on
I looked through it and I saw the names of the people where they were from, so.
that? Did you do that before
Change.
6:30?
I'm going to have a right tonight.
Anything else from Deb?
Reserve at 6 p.m.
I'll second that. See you later, everybody.